literally every time I would open up my inbox, I'll have so many messages. I want to go to Ghana. Ivy, can you tell me this? Can you tell me that? Can you tell me this?
Right.
And it would be the same questions
Sure.
that I'm repeatedly answering. And then my sister was like, why don't you just write a book? Because it's like these people can just buy what they're looking for. And so then I decided, you know what? I think that's what I'll do. I'll write a book. And so I did.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Joannis, or Joe Hatagwa. I'm a Sierra Leonean American living here in Accra, Ghana. And today I have another episode of Authentic African Content Creators, and I'm here with Ivy Prosper.
Hi.
Hi, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
For those who are not aware of who you are, can you tell us a little bit about who you are and what it is that you do?
Sure. My name is Ivy Prosper, as you said. I currently work as a social media manager with Ghana Tourism Authority for the Year of Return and Beyond the Return campaigns. And I also have my own YouTube channel where I share content about Ghana. And I wrote a book about moving to Ghana called Your Essential Guide on Moving to Ghana. My experiences prior to that have been in documentary filmmaking as well as in fashion.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd love to talk a little bit about what brought you here, right? So you're from Toronto, right?
I grew up in a city called St. Catharines,
Okay.
beside Niagara Falls.
Okay.
And then I eventually moved to Toronto, yes.
Okay, and so what brought you to Ghana?
You know, it was a series of events, so it wasn't like one specific thing. So I originally came in 2011, and when I came in 2011, there wasn't the intention of moving. It was supposed to be just, you know, a getaway to clear my mind, because I had some things that were going on in Canada that were a little bit challenging at the time. So I came and I ended up getting work within a couple of weeks.
Okay.
And so I started working. And then after that job, I got another job hosting a TV show.
Okay.
And so it was like, oh, you know, Ghana's not so bad. It's like, this is a really cool environment. I made some great friendships with people, fostered some great relationships. And when my contract ended in 2013, I had gone back to Canada and eventually came back to Ghana in 2016. So while I was in Canada, between 2013 and 2016, I actually made a trip in 2015 just to decide if I want to actually move.
Okay.
Because I was thinking, while I was working, I kept thinking, you know, I really felt like there was something pulling me towards Ghana. I also was in a relationship with somebody who's from here, but he wasn't living here at the time. The two of us were both in North America. Part of my decision was he and I planned to come back, and then other part of my decision was I saw opportunities in Ghana. So he wasn't the sole reason. I saw opportunities here, especially in the media landscape, because that's primarily what I wanted to do, because I was working as a host and a reporter on a TV show.
Right.
And so I saw that, you know, I could have a place where I could come and be part of telling stories in Ghana.
I do want to talk a little bit about what you're doing here now in your day job, because I enjoyed my time and came up with what I was going to do here based on the activities and things I saw on social media about the Year of Return.
Yes.
So, and many of you are probably familiar with that. I'm sure a lot of people came. I think it was something like 500,000 visas were issued or something crazy like that. So can you talk a little bit about how you got involved with doing social media for the Year of Return and beyond the Year of Return?
I was already doing social media on my own personal platforms about things in Ghana. The manager there had wanted to recommend me for the position because she said that she felt they needed some digital marketing for the campaign, because at the time, at the beginning of it, there wasn't any digital marketing being done. It was somebody who works with Ghana Tourism Authority who was just doing it here and there, but it wasn't a consistent flow. After seeing some of the work that I've done, they brought me on board. And so once bringing me on board, it was a perfect synergy because I already was talking about Ghana on my own personal pages. And so this was just an extension of it. And I think also the fact that I'm Ghanaian, as well as I grew up abroad, helped with me understanding the mindset of people abroad and the people in Ghana, and being able to bring it together in some of the social media that was being promoted.
Nice, nice. And so what is some of the content that you put up on the channel?
So I would go to events, some of the conferences, and and I would capture content that I would put onto their pages. For instance, when Kofi Kingston, who was in the WWE, he's the first African to win the championship. I don't watch WWE wrestling. I used to watch it when I was a kid, my brother, but I'm not really somebody who watches it regularly, but he's the first African to have a title.
Sure.
And so he came back to Ghana after not having been here in, I think it was like 25 or 26 years. The first part of some of the stuff I was doing was posting images that I took of him. We would interview people like him and people around just to talk about what they think about people from the diaspora coming.
Right.
So I would post content related to people who come to Ghana, related to things to do in Ghana,
sure,
historical things in Ghana that people can connect with when they come.
Okay, so now let's shift gears to your own personal channel, right? Because I think that that's also interesting. There's some synergies there, but it is a little different, and you've written a book. So can you talk a little bit about what kind of content you do for your own personal channel, and then a little bit more about your book and what is in it?
So for my personal channel, I talk about Ghana, but I tend to go a little bit more, especially with my live streams, more into things like, moving to Ghana, what to expect, positives, negatives, because a lot of times people ask me questions about what it is like living in Ghana,
sure,
what to do in Ghana. So I like to present the ideas of what they can do when they come here. When I am doing some things for work, I get an opportunity to go places that people may not have seen.
Right.
And so what I choose to do is I will shoot extra content when I'm working that I'll use for my channel for the purpose of showcasing some of these places. So for instance, Outtro Echo Park is in the eastern region of Ghana, and it's not a place that's highlighted very much.
Right.
A lot of people will go to Cocoon Park if they want the canopy walk experience, but they don't know that there's also one in the eastern region.
I didn't know that.
Anybody who's watched the video on my channel sees that I'm afraid of heights.
Okay.
And so I have my fear moments going on that canopy walkway. So they have that there. They also have zip lining there as well.
Nice.
They have a nice picnic area. People can go with their families. So it's one of the places that people don't know about. So I like to also show things that people can do. And then sometimes I showcase food, restaurants, places that I've eaten, or just vlogging about the day-to-day things. Like I did a vlog about not having water, because in my area, sometimes the water gets turned off. And if anybody's looking to live in that particular area, they should be aware that if your water goes off, maybe you should have a backup, that kind of thing. So I try to show the reality as well as the positive things as well.
Sure.
And I want to spin it as much for people to see the positive parts of Africa, because the world sees the negative so much. Like, we don't need more. There's so much of it for decades and decades. Like, so much that National Geographic, I don't know if you knew, put out a public apology. It was a couple of years ago, because of the role they played in some of the negative imagery of Africa over decades.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I was not aware, but I'm glad that they did that. That was necessary. And by the way, guys, we are in Sai Wine Cafe. So you might notice some people walking behind us because this is a cafe that people can come to. So don't be distracted. It's good information. And so can you talk a little bit about your book too? I wanted to dive into that a little bit as well.
Yeah. So my book is called Your Essential Guide on Moving to Ghana. I first published it in 2018. And then I republished it in 2019. The 2019 updated version also has a resource guide at the back where I list things like shipping companies, places to call if you're talking about doing business in Ghana. So there's a whole bunch of phone numbers and emails and websites in the second edition. So I usually recommend people go for the second edition over the first, because it's updated with more current information. I wrote that as a response to the questions I was constantly getting. Literally every time I would open up my inbox, I'll have so many messages. I want to go to Ghana. Ivy, can you tell me this? Can you tell me that? Can you tell me this? And it would be the same questions that I'm repeatedly answering. And then my sister was like, why don't you just write a book? Because it's like these people can just buy what they're looking for. And so then I decided, you know what, I think that's what I'll do. I'll write a book. And so I did. I locked myself at a library. And this was actually, I had gone to Canada for a visit. And so I went to the library and I was there every single day and I was just writing.
That's awesome. So we'll have a link to where you can get the book in the description for sure. I think that's huge. I actually will check it out because there are some things that I still have questions about. So you wrote the book, you have the page. How long have you been on YouTube creating content?
So either 2005 or 2006 when I joined YouTube.
Very early days.
Yes, and when I joined YouTube, it wasn't because I was trying to be a content creator. It was just because I was using it as my resume. Because at the time, I was looking for work, and some of the work spaces that I was doing was like media, TV, hosting, that kind of thing. And they want to see what you can do. So I would post videos of stuff that I can do to show people the capabilities that I had. And so that's what I was using it for. And then eventually, over the last few years in Ghana, I started creating content. So in 2011 and 2012, I started posting things, but I wasn't really serious. I was doing it because my friends in Canada and some of them in the States were like, we want to see what you're doing in Ghana. So I would just post these short clips of, hey, I'm here now, and I'll post it up, hey, this is this, and I'll post it up. And I didn't make them all public links. A lot of them were unlisted links that I would just send to my friends so they can watch it. And it was in 2016 when I started really thinking this could be something that could have some potential. So I became more serious in 2018, and then 2019 was when I was just like banging away at doing YouTube. So I would say that I became really serious about it in 2019.
So once you did become serious about it, how long did it take before you got to monetization?
That's the interesting thing, because before there was the rules of monetization, I didn't have to deal with that because I actually was making a little bit of money before, even though I didn't even have 200 subscribers. For the longest time, I had only it was 123 subscribers for the longest time. And I was getting money, little bits of money. And then the rules for having 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours came out. And I think was that in 2018 that happened, or 2019?
I think so, 2018.
And so when that happened, I was just like, whoa, okay, now I think I gotta be serious now, because I don't have that many subscribers. How am I gonna get that many subscribers? So in 2018, I did 2 videos. One was the top 7 positives of Ghana and 7 negatives of Ghana. And I became discouraged. I was like, oh, nobody's watching my videos. Nobody's watching my videos. So I was like, what's the point? And a lot of people get that attitude. I think a lot of people do and then give up. And so that was an issue that I had, was I felt like nobody's watching my videos. So I kind of left it to the wayside. And then in 2019, I started to take it more serious. Wodamaya and I had a conversation, and he was like, Ivy, you should be way bigger than you are. He was like, you need to be more consistent with what you're doing. He's like, look where you're working. You can, capitalize on the things that, the network and people that you are coming across. He's like, but you're not being consistent. That's your problem. You're not being consistent. And he says that to me all the time. He's always telling me I'm not consistent. And if I was, that it would grow. So I started to work on trying to be consistent, balancing my full-time job while trying to do YouTube at the same time. And so I found that once I was posting more, all of a sudden, the growth is happening. And then I don't even remember when it was I hit 1,000 subscribers. I think because I had been on YouTube for so long that I didn't think of that as a marker for me. So I was like, I've been on here for so long anyway. I didn't think of it as a marker. But once I started to really become consistent, I noticed the subscriber numbers go up. So by the end of 2020, I had hit the 10,000 subscribers. And then I was like, oh, then I celebrated. I was like, oh my gosh, wow, 10K? Like, that's serious. And then after passing that 10K mark, it was like, then I get this email, you now qualify for this YouTube creators group that you can go in. And I was like, oh, this is nice. So now I really have to take it more seriously, consistently. So consistency is key. Right now, even I have videos that I put out, and sometimes something happens with, my time with other commitments, and then I have a break. So my advice to people, if you want to grow on YouTube, is consistency. The other thing is, if you can create a lot of content and have it banked. So then that way you're just putting it out because it's already created, and then you are working on stuff while the banked stuff is coming out. So you're not worrying about, oh my gosh, I don't have enough content. Oh my gosh, I don't have enough content. So for me, I know that I have to continue to be more consistent to have my continued growth and find the balance in being able to do that, because I love doing it actually. I really love going and sharing information with people, showing people the things in Ghana, and from my perspective. Because everybody has their own perspective. We can show the same place, you can show this place, and it'll be totally different than the way that I would show this place, and I think that's important, because people who connect with you will see it through your eyes.
I think that's so important, because I've heard that before with other people who are talking about content. I've actually seen this recently, where there are people who feel like because someone else has done it, they can't do it.
Yes.
Now, I'm not saying you should copy other people's content, but what I am saying is if you had an original idea, but you found that it wasn't actually original, it doesn't mean that you can't do it, right? Because like you said, people are coming to watch your perspective or my perspective, right? And so it's not really about whether or not someone else has done it. It's about how you do it and why people come to you, right?
Exactly.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's great advice. I was going to ask you what advice you would give, but you've given some good gems already. And so beyond all of that, right? What is your plan for your content, right? What do you want people to get from the content that they watch that you create?
I want people to know that Ghana and other parts of Africa are places where human beings are living.
Sure.
People are living. People are doing things. People are not what you think from what you see in media. Because even though the media landscape is changing a little bit when it comes to Africa, there's still that negativity that it's like they want it to just always be crushed.
Sure.
And I felt that during the pandemic, being in Ghana and seeing the news. And Africans were really upset when Melinda Gates made her statement about that she sees dead bodies all over Africa.
Right.
And it was like, so you're already predicting that everybody's going to die? You're not even giving anybody a chance to even fight this thing.
Sure.
And then the irony of it all is the continent of Africa had the least impact than everywhere else.
Right.
You know, and everybody kept saying, well, what could it be? Could it be this? Oh, it's got to be this. Oh, if people couldn't understand, how is it that Africa is not collapsing?
Right.
You know, especially when America was just like out of control with the pandemic, what was going on. So here, people were talking about that, about how they see that the media still wants Africa to not do well. They still want Africa to fail. So what I hope people get from my content is to see that the possibilities are there. Yeah. There may be challenges, but what I often say to people is a lot of the challenges come because it's a relatively new country. We gained independence in 1957. Right. Like America with what? Was the 1775 or something? 76? Yeah. So it's like they've had hundreds of years to build their country. Right. Which was helped to be built by Black Africans. Exactly. By the way. So they've had these centuries to develop their country into what it is now. Sure. And so these new countries on the continent, you know, after gaining their independence, are all working towards, you know, becoming better. Yes, there are challenges with leadership sometimes. Yes, there are challenges with infrastructure. But part of us being here is not about now in the moment all the time. Right. We have to think about the legacy. Right. So we may not see the fruits of our labor to its fullest. Right. It might be the next generation or the generation after, but if we don't lay the foundation now, it's never going to happen. You know, so it's like when you think about some businesses. So I said to a young person once, I said, if you're doing your business, try to do it in a way that you are preparing it so that someone else can take over when you're not here, so your company continues. I said, you're wearing that t-shirt that says Louis Vuitton. Do you think Louis Vuitton's alive? Do you think those people are alive who started it? Right. No, they're not. They're long gone. But someone else has taken over and is running the company. Right. Chanel, she's been long gone. Someone else took over and the company continues. Versace, 97, he was killed. Right. His family took over the company and it continues. And I'm sure they've prepared a legacy for when they're not around, the company continues. So I think that a lot of African young people need to learn the concept of creating a business that becomes a legacy rather than just for now in the moment. I need money now, but what about years down the road? Because that's what will develop your nation into a powerhouse for the future.
Huge. That's huge. Yeah, that's awesome. And then just kind of wrap it up. If you could go back and change anything, and I think you may have mentioned this a little bit, during your YouTube journey, what would you do differently?
If I could go back, I would have taken content creation more seriously. Okay. Because when I did join, although I said I was using it for job searching, I also had in the back of my mind, I would always tell friends, oh, I would love to do my own talk show. I would love to do my own this. I didn't even think about the fact that I could have just gone and created something myself. Right. And I could have been putting it on the YouTube channel, and it could have been a huge thing by now with that many years behind it. Right. Because when I think about people like Gary Vaynerchuk, who he also was on YouTube in the early days, and he used it to promote a business, his family business. Right. that's kind of what helped him develop into becoming who he is now.
Absolutely.
Because of all of the mistakes made, the learning lessons,
right.
that now he's an expert that's teaching people about content creation. So if I could go back, I would have taken it more seriously as a way to create my own content instead of relying on others. Because I was always relying on, I have to apply for a job with this company. I'm applying for a job with NBC. I'm applying a job with, CTV in Canada. I'm applying for a job, applying to work for these people, when I could have just tried to create my own.
In terms of equipment, right? Because I think a lot of times I talk to people who are thinking about getting into the world of content creation, right? I know what equipment you use, but I'd love for you to tell the people out there, what equipment do you use to shoot?
Yeah, I tell people that use what you have, use the tools that you have. So I do have a camera. I do have a 4K film camera, documentary film camera. It's a JVC camera. I rarely use it because the batteries that come for that, this is something that you got to think about when you come to Ghana too. The batteries that go with that camera, after time there's wear and tear on batteries. You keep charging them, and I've had those batteries for at least 4 years. And now when you charge them, they barely last 15 minutes. So you're constantly looking at the light to see when it's going to go off. And if you're working, you don't want to constantly be thinking about the batteries. So I need to get some of those batteries shipped in because they're not here in Ghana. So I have to make an effort to do it. It's just been not on the top of my mind because I've been shooting with my phone a lot of the time. And so that's why I say use what you have, especially in spaces in Ghana and other parts of Africa where it's challenging to film. There are other content creators who've talked about this, how you go places and sometimes they give you a hassle when you want to film something. They tell you can't bring your cameras in, even when it's an open public space. And they'll be like, why do you have your camera in here? Who are you filming? What are you doing? And so it becomes more challenging because when I was in Toronto, you could be on the corner of Yonge and Dundas in downtown Toronto. That would be like Times Square in New York. You could be just sitting, you could be in the middle there and start recording something and nobody's coming up to you and saying, why do you have your camera? They're not going to tell you to get off the street. You're just filming in an open public space. But here, even there was a restaurant I went to, I did a short video about this, a vlog about this. They wanted us to pay $100 US to film. And all we were gonna do was, he had his DSLR camera and he was actually pointing it on me and asking me questions for his channel, so he's recording me. And they came up and they were like, what are you doing? You can't record yet, you have to pay $100. And he was like, what? $100? And we were like, okay, so what if we use our phone? And they were like, oh, for the phone, you can use the phone, it won't be a problem. And we said, but do you know that some phones film the same quality as the camera now? And they were like, well, that's the policy. You can use the phone, but the camera you have to pay $100. So it's like, all right. And because of these continued challenges in Ghana, I tend to use my phone more because I won't have the hassle when I have the phone. You walk in and nobody's bothering you. You just use your phone. So you just gotta make sure if you're choosing to use your phone to film, that you put it on the highest resolution if you want the best quality for your videos once you upload it onto YouTube. Because watching it on your phone is different than someone who might want to watch it on a screen. Because a lot of people now will watch YouTube and they'll put it on their TV screen so it expands. So you want to make sure the quality is good for when it does expand to a bigger screen as well. So that's what I use. And I actually have a microphone too, a lavalier mic that plugs into the phone. So if I'm places where the noise is really loud, I'll plug that into the phone and then clip it on so that I have better audio. I do have a Zoom recorder which records audio. So if I need to, I'll carry that to record audio for interviews. And I have a handheld mic, but it's not wireless, it's a plug-in. But I'm looking forward to getting more equipment as time goes on. But for now, I use the tools that I have to get the job done.
Yeah, and I mean, we're just filming on 2 different phones and we have just tripods here. Nothing special, no extra mics or anything. It's just the basics, right? Like I came with my phone, you came with your phone, and that's how we're filming. So that's also good advice, I think, for people out there who are trying to determine if they want to start doing this consistently or even do this at all. So I think there was a lot of great information. I think I walked away with being consistent, taking it seriously, basically like a business, right? Not relying on other people to help you get your business off the ground. You mentioned Gary Vee. I would also mention Issa Rae, right? She did her Awkward Black Girl on YouTube, right? And now obviously she's a big producer in Hollywood. That was interesting. And then the other thing was use the equipment you have. So where can people find you online?
You can find me at Ivy Prosper. So YouTube, it's just my name, Ivy Prosper. Instagram, Twitter, I'm Ivy Prosper on all my social platforms.
Nice. Well, thank you very much, Ivy, for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. And I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
Love this channel. I have to spend some time to binge watch, but I've watched a few of your videos. And I just love the way that you deliver your content. And I love your exchange with your YouTube friend that you had on for a couple of episodes.
Yeah.
So yeah, love what you're doing too.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I love what you're doing. I think it's awesome. And I'm buying the book. The link is going to be in the description, along with the link to the book and all of her social media channels.
Yes.
All right, guys. So thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video. All right, guys, if you like this video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, like, comment, and share it with your friends. All right, see you on the next video.